This is a brand new light from Aputure. It's called the AL-H160. It's a small light, portable, designed to either be used on top of a camera, or you can of course mount it on a lighting stand and use it that way as well. Battery powered either by 6 AA cells or by a variety of Sony batteries. And it's a new one from them. They've only just launched this fairly recently. And the big boast about this particular light is that it has a CRI of 95 or above. That's a colour rendition index of 95, and generally speaking, the higher the CRI, the better the sort of quality, if you like, of the light. Now, there are some technical arguments as to why CRI isn't really so applicable to LED lights, but that's all detailed technical stuff which I'm not going into. I think it suffices to say that you can't go wrong with a higher CRI, even if you argue about whether or not it's meaningful to LEDs. Better colour accuracy has got to be a good thing, surely. Here's the light. As you can see, relatively compact. You could mount that on top of a camera, depending on what camera you were using. And on the back, slot for batteries. You can open that up. Get rid of the silica gel. Slot for 6 ordinary AA cells. And there's 3 different types of camcorder battery this will take. It takes Sony NPF type, which is that kind of thing. It will also take the little Sony NPF-V, I think is that type, and also a Sony, no, it's called a Q something, QD, QM, anyway, it's one of those, although that isn't actually a Sony, that's a SWIT equivalent. So 3 different types of Sony camcorder battery that the light will take. You've also got a dimmer here, and there's a battery testing button just there which would light up these LEDs to show you how much battery charge you've got. In fact, let's just stick that on, see how my battery is doing. 3 bars out of 4, so that's sufficient. And then I'll just turn it on. There we go, that's the sort of minimum brightness. I'm not going to point it directly at the camera, and that's going up all the way to full brightness, which is actually quite bright. And although you can't really tell, I suppose, by looking at it by eye, just looking at it like that, it does seem to be a very, very white light, a very good white light. It is slightly flickering as I'm moving it around. I don't know if that's a slightly dodgy battery connection or that the light is flickering. No, seems to be fairly constant if I hold it still, so perhaps that's just a slightly dodgy battery connection. Let's turn that down again. One other useful thing about this, how do I get that battery off? I presume I just push it backwards. Yep. One other slightly unusual thing about this is it comes with this little connector here, and it's got holes on the side and on the bottom here, so you can slide the connector in like that. And then if you've got 2 of these lights, you can then join them together, and again on the sides as well, and build up quite a collection of them to make one very large light. So you could give yourself a sort of substantial key light or something if you wanted. And that's quite a handy little feature. I hope that's going to come out again. Yep, there we go. Also comes with this little, if I could get it out of the packaging, cold shoe stand, which goes into the, I presume it goes into the same slot, just in there, tighten it up, and then you can, that's very tight, tighten that up and turn the light at an angle. It's slightly notched, so you've got sort of position there, there, there. It's not continuously variable, but it should be sufficient for most purposes, I would have thought. I don't know if you can just see here on the edge of it, little notches here on all 4 corners, and that is for the inevitable clear diffuser, and also a tungsten diffuser if you want to take it down from presumably 5600 or thereabouts. If you want to take it down to a 3200 tungsten temperature, just clip that on the front, and there you go, now you've got a tungsten light. As for construction, well, it's plastic, it's fairly lightweight, I don't know that this would survive much rough and tumble in the field, but I guess provided you're careful with it, you should be alright. And as the light costs £38 or thereabouts, it's not exactly costly. If you did break one, you could just go and buy another, I suppose. But there you go. That is the AL-H160. Some instructions in there as well. There boasts about this that it has this high colour rendering index, so it gives you a good quality light, a stepless brightness control, battery power indicator. It says it's expandable using those little connectors up to 9 LED panels, so 3x3. That would be quite impressive, I think, if you had 3x3 of those. Multiple battery options, yes, we've covered that. A 16:9 widescreen design. They're very pleased with the fact that it's the same shape as your telly. Low power consumption, they say, eco-friendly and power saving. It's got the diffusers and is lightweight, portable and compact. Well, I can't really argue with that. Not a lot more to say. I'll go and point this at some things and we'll have a look at how it actually looks in the real world. So here I am filming in the local nature reserve. The camera is at 0 dB gain and you can't see a lot until I turn the light on, and even then not a great deal is illuminated, just the foliage right in front of me. As we turn away from that though, the throw of the light not very great at all. You can just about make out one or two trees in the distance, but I am going to have to turn the gain up on the camera in order to see anything, so I added in 9 dB of gain here. I'm filming, by the way, on a Panasonic X920 camcorder, so that's with 9 dB gain and the light at maximum. And I think we can say that the light does a reasonable enough job on things that are in the immediate vicinity of the camera, perhaps 1 to 2 meters away, but you're not going to be lighting up Buckingham Palace with this thing, which is fair enough. Of course, that's not what it's designed for. It's a camera top light for illuminating things, people and things that are standing immediately in front of the camera. That tree, for example, it's about 7 meters away from where I'm filming. I'm now standing at the notice board at the entrance to the nature reserve. I'm about 2 meters away, still got 9 dB of gain, and with the light at full, that's about the right illumination on the sign. Now, as I mentioned earlier, one of the big sort of selling points that Aputure make about this light is that it has a CRI, colour rendition index, of 95, which should mean that when you light somebody with it, such as I am doing now, they should look, for want of a better word, normal, instead of looking slightly unhealthy. You see, the old LED lights often had a slight magenta cast or a slight green cast, and when you lit someone with them, you'd sort of notice in the skin tones they looked a bit magenta or a bit green, and it could make them look unhealthy. So this one being CRI 95, the theory is I should just look like a normal human being. I leave that to your judgment as to whether that's the case or not. It's certainly bright enough to light an interview from a short distance away, and for news gathering purposes, such as these kind of top lights are often used for, I think it does a suitable job. And just before I finish, here are the technical specifications for the light as listed in the instruction leaflet. That's all from me. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, why not give it a quick like and maybe subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.